What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about a new handgun. Today we're going to be going over the M&P 9 Spec series. Pretty interesting metal frame gun that adds a lot of features on the old school M&P that I think you guys are really going to like. Now, before we get into that, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. It's because of you guys we have cool guns and ammo, and if you want to support the channel, it's the best way to do it. Just go to the link in the description. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's the YSS. Really appreciate it if you go down there and click that and donate to those kids. And then finally, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is the Sonoran Desert Institute. We really appreciate them for sponsoring tons of our content lately. We love them as a sponsor, and we really believe in what they do. They're an online school for gunsmithing where you can get an education in anything you want firearms related, whether it be gunsmithing, drone operation, anything that you want to do in the firearms technology world, you can get a degree there and you can get a really good career. Go and check them out. Thanks to Sonoran Desert Institute for sponsoring us. Now, the M&P 9 Spec series is a metal frame gun. It is kind of a new take on what they released last year, the metal frame M&P competition, except for this one is not for competition. This one is for self-defense and looking really cool at the range because it also looks really awesome. The first thing I noticed when I picked this up was the cool green color. When I saw it on a bunch of people's videos, I actually thought it was the same gray color as the M&P. Now I like gunmetal gray, it's one of my all-time favorite colors for a gun, but I think the green looks even better. I don't know about you, but I really like OD green. And comes with a comp included, which we'll talk about in a minute. Comes with suppressor height sights, comes with the core system, slide serrations, new slide cuts, optics rail, trigger, which we'll be getting into here in a second, and then we have the standard issue M&P back panels here, so you can put a whole bunch of panels in there. I think there's 5 with this one, and then the front panel with the smooth grip. Right off the bat, this is an interesting firearm because it comes with an awful lot of features that you would want in your firearm if you paid a good amount of money. Now the MSRP is around like $950. You can find it for lower than that. I already have, and it's a brand new gun. We did get one of these for review from Smith Wesson, and we have to say that as a full disclosure, although I haven't picked it up yet because we bought this one. I didn't think I was gonna get one from Smith, so I bought one and already had it here by the time they asked me, and I was like, well, I mean, the only way to dual wield is to have 2 of them, so why not? So technically they're sponsoring the video, although this is not the gun they sent me. This is the gun I bought with the Patreon dollar, so appreciate Patreon and Smith. Now the OD green Cerakote worked really well. It didn't rub off. We already have over 500 rounds for this. We've already taken out in 3 different shoots. We were going to call it the first 500, but I actually don't know how many rounds we have. We're probably closer to 1,000. We shot it with the comp, my wife did. Then I shot a bunch suppressed with my Omega 9K. And we didn't just shoot with standard ammunition, we shot with subsonic ammunition because I currently have a hole in my ear, and the healthcare community being what it is, I have to wait a year to get an MRI, and then after that to get it fixed. So it'll be a little while. I'm sorry for holding you guys up, but right now if I were to shoot a gun with no suppressor on it, I would fall over and die. No, I'm kidding. But I would get dizzy and throw up. So my wife shot it with the comp, and what did you think?
I loved it. I had a great time. I thought that the texture was pretty aggressive, but it does certainly help it stick in your hand.
It does.
But I had no problems at all with it.
Yeah. So first off, they comp this correctly, in my opinion. So a lot of times when you see comp guns, they're not done right. This one is. I wanted to talk about, first off, how hard it was to take off, which is good, right? Because a lot of times these will spin. This has 2 set screws, and they put enough rock set on it to hold a truck upside down stuck to a ceiling. I mean, holy shit. That's why it's so marred up. We actually didn't do any drop tests or anything. I actually had to spin this thing off to put the suppressor on, and it took a lot of work. So I was actually really happy with that because that just shows good build quality, because most people buy this are going to want it to be comped all the time, and you're never going to want that thing to spin unless you take it apart, of course, which I guess then you'd probably want it to come apart. But that being said, I like the overall build quality with it, and I like the dual set screw. That way if one does fail and fall out, the other one's still holding on, which is nice. The comp in and of itself does reduce the recoil a great deal, at least from what you said, right?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was great.
Right. And then also a couple things they did were they reduced the overall mass of the slide, and that's important when it comes to a comp gun, because if you just put a comp on a gun and use the same recoil spring and everything, it's not going to work. So they did a little slide work to it, reduced the weight of the slide so it ran reliably, and it did 100% run with the comp. Now, the core system we did not try on this gun because it's the same exact system as we've had on tons of guns, and we've had absolutely, I mean, we've had over a dozen M&Ps on the channel already. Most of them had red dots, and the core system works. Not only does it work, but they come with the optic plates right out of the box, which is really nice. Glock does that as well, but Glocks are kind of cheap. The core system is polymer, which can be a point of contention. However, it's very strong structurally, in my personal opinion, and we've never had a failure on them, and we've tried to break them in the past, and they're pretty good. I like they come in the box, and I like they come with different options. So if you don't want to run the RMR, you don't want to run Delta Point, you don't want to run SIG's stupid optic system where you can only run SIG, then you can run whatever you want, and that's what you should be able to do. It's America after all. Freedom. Now, slide serrations, awesome. So I'm a guy who runs it from the front, so that can be a little controversial because most people, I guess, just want to be slower. I'm kidding, but seriously, run it from the front, it's faster, and it's really reliable with an optic on it, because a lot of times we run optics. I shoot a lot of limited optics, carry optics, and you don't want to be beating the shit out of your optic too much. And you don't really want to be back here. A lot of times people pinch this because they have the VP9 wings, which is okay, but it's a very weak way to do it. And a lot of times you see people do that, they slip off, right? What you want to do is you want to come over the slide and you want to grab it like this and run it forward enough to hit your chest, right? You want to run it like, it's hard not to say it, but you want to run it like a man. Now, I run it from the front because it gets in the, it doesn't get away the optic system. And then if you do it long enough and fast enough, you can actually get good enough to where it is faster. So when you come up here, slide, lock, and you don't have to take your hand all the way back and then back on the gun. You just rack the slide and go right back on the gun. So I like that, especially for 2011s, because, well, it just works really well on them. But it works well on the M&P too, because they have similar ergonomics to 2011s, which is nice. Picatinny rail for lights and lasers, as always. Metal frame, which it adds a little weight. I think it's what, like 30 ounces on this guy instead of maybe like 28 on the polymer. Don't quote me on that. It's just based off my memory. And it does add a little weight and a little rigidity, and it adds kind of a look factor, which is nice. Functionally, I don't think it really matters all that much. I know maybe that's controversial. 2 ounces probably doesn't matter all that much. I think the polymer frame's probably going to be no difference in recoil impulse, but it does look very cool. Now, they didn't add any texture here like I wanted on the last one, and I do wish they still would do that. I know it costs a little money to put checkering here, but it's already, you know, a $900 gun. And if you're paying $915, you might as well pay $935 for a good textured gun. I think at that point you're kind of splitting hairs, and I wish that was included. Although there's an awful lot of stuff that is included. So first off, we have the best trigger in any M&P ever. Well, at least 9mm. It's very similar in function to the 5.7 or to the 22 Magnum. Not only is it the new M&P 2.0 trigger shoe, but it's the Performance Center trigger with the Performance Center sear, so it's a very light pull. I mean, 3.5, 4 pounds on your M&P out of the box is dope. I'm a big fan of that. I mean, everybody, when they bought the Gen 1 M&Ps, they want Apex. I did too. I have tons of Apex triggers in my M&Ps, and now I don't, because the new M&P comes with this flat face trigger, which is really nice, and it comes with the poundage I want out of the factory. It also has a good reset, so you can see the brake right here. Pretty quick. Now, you can get custom options like, you know, again, Apex, and probably get the reset down a little bit. However, the pull and the accuracy of the gun is excellent. Lots of back straps in the box. You have like 5 different options, and then you have a whole bunch of mags too. I wanted to show the box because it looks like a MP5 comes in here. It's so absurd how large the box is, but they needed that because they sent a whole bunch of stuff with. So first off, you get 2 of these extended mags right here, which is really, really nice. I think these are 24, 25, which is cool. And then you get these semi-extended mags. And what I mean by that is they have a false base plate on them. And usually they use those to keep the round count down, but to use a mag well. And I don't really care for these because it adds size with no real point to it. However, they look cool, and it makes it a little easier to grab them if you're using a mag well. Although the gun didn't come with a mag well, so I don't really know. Looks cool though, I guess. Comes with a knife and a challenge coin if you're into that kind of thing. I've got a whole gang of those, so that really doesn't blow my hair back anymore. But if you're into challenge coins, I guess you can get one of those, and then you can collect your Smith and your SIGs and whoever else does that shit. I think we had 2 or 3 failures right off the bat with the first magazine of suppressor ammunition, and after that, no problems. And you said you had no problems with the comp. Which is really good for a gun that's comp, because traditionally comps introduce issues, and traditionally suppressors introduce issues. So the fact that we didn't have any is kind of a testament. Cerakote's wearing off the gun a little bit. It's like first 500, 600, 700 rounds, somewhere in there. And that's good because I like to wear in the guns. A lot of people are like, oh no, my Cerakote's wearing off. Well, it's just getting more reliable because the more Cerakote wears off, the slicker it's going to be and the better it's going to run. So overall, that's cool. Their accuracy is phenomenal. I was really happy with the accuracy. I was hitting at 75 yards with the suppressor on, and I couldn't even really see over the suppressor. That's always funny with suppressor height sights because even these that are extra tall are still not tall enough to clear my suppressor. So basically what you do is just kind of forget the suppressor's there and you see the target with your left eye and you center the sights with your right eye and you just put the bullet where it's supposed to go. And that's what we did with this, and super accurate, super reliable, good recoil impulse, and overall good performance. So what do you get for your money though? Because it is more expensive generally than other pistols. And I'm gonna show a couple. Two are the biggest competitors in my opinion. First off, we're gonna go with the one that I think it beats the shit out of, which is the all new Glock 49. And the reason why I'm just showing this is because this is Glock's latest iteration. And this is what Glock kind of brings to the table. So this is their newest gun, and this is the one that can switch slides and grips and all that, which is cool. Not as cool as all the features you're about to get on the Smith, but it's cool. So $750 for this, and we do have an upgraded optics system from Radian. You don't get that with the gun. And you kind of get the same basic features you've always gotten with the Glock. And then for 200 bucks more, you could get this thing. And I just wanted to show them next to each other, so it's kind of obvious, right? Which one you should get already. I mean, we have a better grip angle on this, we have a better trigger on this, we have a better feature set, better slide serrations, better optics mount with more plates, comes with a comp, comes with suppressor height sights, stupid good trigger, and the magazines are metal, more reliable, and they eject free from the gun, and you get 4 mags instead of 3. So, quick comparison between the two, the M&P is clearly better. Is it $200 more better? I personally think so, but if you're a Glock guy, obviously they still work, no big deal. I'm just making fun. Now, the real competitor to this, in my opinion, is going to be the new Walther PDP Pro Series, which we're going to be shooting next week. And I kind of want to do a little head-to-head of these two. A little shorter barrel, however, same sort of configuration. We have a suppressor ready out of the box. We don't get quite as many features with this gun, but it's also cheaper. And on top of that, the trigger is probably the only trigger in the industry now that is better than the M&P. And that's going to be better in reset and pull, so it'll be exciting to shoot these two next to each other. Better trigger, probably a little more accurate on the Pro. However, they're definitely going to be more recoil because the PDPs are a little snappy, and this one's super, super light, and this one is a nice even 30 ounces. That's kind of where I like my guns. I like them somewhere between 30 and 40. Not too heavy to where it's like kind of making it more cumbersome to swing from target to target or to draw or to carry on your body, and not too light where the gun seems like it wants to snap and jump out of my hand. So, in my opinion, one of the best guns Smith's ever put out, but we're gonna shoot more of it. I don't know if you guys want 1,000, we're pretty close to that already. Or do you want a 2,000, possibly? 2,000 round review? Super fun gun to shoot, probably the most fun I've had with a suppressor on a handgun yet this year. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Let me know if the gun is worth it or not to you. Things I think they could fix, definitely gonna be the texture. I wanna see checkering across this. I wouldn't mind paying 30, 50 bucks more to get that. Personally, I like that. I think it should come with a magwell too, because magwells are obviously easier to reload, and I think it would fit this gun really well. Put a little weight on the front. I'd like to see a little weight on the rear as well, balance the gun out a little bit. But overall, other than that, I think it's damn near perfect. But what can I say? I'm a little biased. I love M&Ps. I carry a shield, so it is what it is. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.